Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Things That Matter with Marty McNabb. And that's me, obviously. And I am a personal historian and legacy artist. So, for 25 years with my first company, Memories Out of the Box, I help people with all their photos, documents, and memorabilia tell a visual narrative with those. So, in other words, I tell stories with other people's stuff, the objects, the things that they have around that they carry with them, that are on their windowsill, on their bodies, in their backpacks, their wallets, their purses, anywhere in their living environment, or for that matter, the attics, the basements, the suitcases, storage units, you name it, all the places that we put things that matter. And generally, as we all know, it's not really the things that matter. It's that these things remind us of the people and places and experiences that we have. So I am delighted, thanks to my good friend, Sky Bergman, to have met our guest today, Siobhan Daniels. And she is also on a journey, a big journey, living in a RV, in a motorhome. I think that's what you use in the UK. And so we realize that we are on this journey, both over 60, I'm assuming, because I think that's what I see in hashtags. So we're both reinventing ourselves and traveling the world and experiencing life differently. And I am delighted to have her today on Things That Matter. And I'm going to just turn it over to you, Siobhan. So take it away.
Hi, it's lovely to meet you. I'm Siobhan Daniels. I'm 63 years old. I, like you say, live in my motorhome. I retired from the BBC after working for 30 years in radio and television, got rid of my flat, all my possessions, bought myself a motorhome, and set off traveling around Great Britain 3 years ago to challenge ageist stereotypes of what people think older people do and to champion positive aging. And I've got a book coming out called Retirement Rebel by Siobhan Daniels, not to be confused with one written by somebody else, that just is hopefully inspires women, younger women, not to worry about getting old, and older women to reignite the adventurous spirit that they've got to age positively.
Yes, yes, I'm so excited. And we're exactly the same age. I'm 63 too. I started my van life a little bit before you did, but as I mentioned before, I'm not doing it full time. So I totally am in awe of what you're doing and what you're bringing to the world, and having different conversations about aging and about options and possibilities. I love it.
That's exactly what I'm trying to do. More than anything, is just inspire women to stimulate that conversation. So we say, no more. We're not going to put up with the way that older women are treated in society. We've got a voice, we're not invisible, and we want to be heard, and we want to age the best way that we can. We're not bothered about anti aging, we're bothered about pro aging. We want to be positive and enjoy life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad to have you along on this journey and to invite you to share a thing that
Yay.
you keep, and with my audience, and tell them why this is so special and what it means to you.
In here is my mother's pearl necklace and her pearl earrings, which she wore all the time for family functions, the christenings, the weddings, everything. And she left them to me. She died 6 months before I started this journey. So I feel having this in the motorhome with me keeps my mother with me. Um, she was widowed. These are the pearls, and they are beautiful pearls, and they go around once or twice, but they actually smell of her. I can feel my mother when I put them on. I went to a wedding recently and wore them,
Oh,
but I can feel my mother, and
stunning. Oh,
and
they're stunning.
they are lovely, and it goes around 3 times if I want it tighter. And the earrings are so beautiful and so delicate. But you know, the clip-on earrings, and the first thing I thought was, oh my goodness, they're going to hurt. and they're just so lovely. They fit like little cotton wool pads on your ear. They're so gentle. But the thing is, my mum was widowed when she was in her early 40s. She was left with 8 children and she had to bring us all up. And we weren't the easiest to bring up. And she was a very strong, stoic woman who loved life, who loved her own company as well. And she taught us a lot. We butted heads a lot because I think I was very similar to my mum. But I've realized on this journey as well how similar I am to her. And I do regret some of the altercations I had with her. And so I feel, I don't know, just having this on me now, I feel quite emotional. Um, but she taught me so much in life, and I didn't listen a lot of the time. I was too busy going forward and living my life at a tremendous speed. Now I've stopped. My mum tried to teach me the trees and the plants and the birds and everything. I wasn't interested. Now I love nothing more than sitting on the steps of my motorhome and listening to the birds and wishing that my mum was here so I could take a photograph of them and send them to her, and she'd know within a nanosecond what bird it was or what the bird sang, or send her a recording of the bird song and the trees. But even when I'm driving along in my motorhome, especially at the beginning of this journey, because when I set off on this journey, my plan was to have no plan and to go with the flow. I was just broken in my mid-50s and I knew I needed to find a different way of living. And as I drove along, there were many times I was lost. I wasn't really sure what I was doing. And I used to cry out loud and speak out loud to my mum in the motorhome, going, "Oh, mum, what am I going to do?" Even, in my 60s. And knowing that I've had these with me in the motorhome just makes me feel that she's close. And I've also got a photograph of me and her, which I put it on the passenger seat. And then when I park up, I put it on the little shelf. So I just feel with this jewelry, I'm on a long journey with my mum with me, and it's so important.
Oh my goodness. What a beautiful story. What a wonderful concept of how we can keep people with us.
Oh, I can smell my mum though. I really can.
Well, that's like you said, you kept it in the box that so her hands, her oil, her
That's how I
her
feel. When I open it,
perfume,
I think, oh my God, my mum opened this box. My
same
mum.
box. Right, exactly. So it has her essence on it. It's so
Mm.
wonderful. And needless to say, Siobhan, like all of us and our listeners, I am sure that it's such a common experience that we have our lives, we get busy, we have our careers, we have our families, we've got our friends, we just get into the busyness of our lives and we don't end up taking the time to sit and listen and learn from our quote unquote elders. It's very, very common.
Which is
And
why I'm doing this journey as well, and why I got rid of my earthly possessions, most of them, and my home, because I wanted to show that we're obsessed with going out and working long hours to earn lots of money, to buy lots of stuff to fill our homes with, but we're missing that quality time with family and friends. I could have spent so much more time with my mum. I would give anything to have a moment back with her, especially now I understand myself more and life more. Um, and I just think we can do with far less. We need to go refocus again and think sitting down and talking and being and listening with our friends and relatives is so much more important than material things. Although being left this by my mum in her will just meant so much to me. It really did.
yeah. Yeah, well, in my first business, Memories Out of the Box, so the so often people would say, "My kids don't want this. They don't." It became, and now the minimalism field and the downsizing and right sizing and all of that communication that's out there talks about getting rid of things, and I would always end up saying, your children don't want all of this stuff unorganized, uncurated, un, not
Yes, I know what you mean. That confusion of everything. Where do we start to sort it out, kind of thing.
right. And the biggest thing is they want the stories.
Yes.
The children want the stories, but unless the things are selected like that, that beautiful necklace that your mom gave you and earrings, if it's not selected and you haven't seen them, you saw your mom wearing it. So
Yeah.
she had a story about it, but then you were able to continue to, so you have to do some organizing and editing or curating for then younger people to want to inherit these things,
Which my
because
mum was very good at doing.
it
She
sounds like it.
she made a list of all what we received and why we received it and the significance of why we received it. And that was so important. I've got a picture as well, which my sister's keeping, obviously, because I can't have that in the motor. But that, she knew I didn't want much. But the thing is, I look at family pictures of weddings of my brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews and things, and everyone my mum's got these on. So, and I will pass these on to my daughter as well. So it is important. And I'm not materialistic, as I'm showing by my lifestyle, but I agree with you. Some objects are important because of the story they carry with them and the emotion they carry with them.
Absolutely. So, and you did and needless to say, the van life that I'm living, and my friends who are in van life or location indie or digital nomads or remote workers, they also have to deal with, what do we do with all this stuff? And
Yeah.
needless to say, we were all influenced by our society that encourages, you work your 40 years, you want to get that bigger and bigger house or car or whatever, right? So I was just talking to my friend who I'm visiting right now because she had knee surgery, that one of her sons needed this big truck, but he like drives an hour and a half away each direction for work, and he's like, yep, I'm downsizing. So we all get wrapped up in these
Yeah.
stories of wanting more and more. So it's but
And sometimes we can just end up sinking underneath all that pressure of, am I as good as my neighbor? Am I as good as my peers? And am I failing because I don't have as many possessions or as big a house or as big a car? And you just lose sight of what life is about. And I think we've only got one chance to do this. And I had a brother who died at 53 and a sister who died at 53, and my father died at 50 and a niece in her early 30s. And all that was part of me planning to do this kind of journey, because it was seize the day, live life, live it to the full. My mum did. She died at 87, but she had a blooming good life. And she, to me, is an inspiration and a role model. And that's what I'm trying to be to other women, to help them when they're in that difficult place. And I wrote Retirement Rebel so they can read it and have it as an inspirational book, to not get lost in all the minutiae of buying things and worrying about how big the house is and what they're doing, but just focus on living and being in the moment and savoring the moment. I was lying down on the beach the other day just watching the clouds, and I was so happy and so calm. And I thought, I used to do this so much as a child, and I stopped doing it for 40 odd years, and now I'm doing it again and loving it.
well, I am so glad. I am so glad that you found this, that you can inspire other people to find this, other women to find this, and I so appreciate you being a part of Things That Matter at this early stage. And I know you have and I'm going to put in the show notes and put out to everyone about your book launch that's coming up mid-October. Is that right?
October 20th, yeah, the book's
October
out.
20th, but you're available for pre-order. So even if I get this out, it can be
On
pre-ordered.
Vertebrate Publishing website and on Amazon, I'm available for pre-orders. And don't confuse it. There is another book with the same name, I found out, but mine is Retirement Rebel by Siobhan Daniels.
Yes, I was the one who also said, because before we got on this and recorded, I said, I bought the wrong book. So yes, do realize that there are two books, and one is hippie something, but this has a little
An
different.
inspirational, uplifting book to encourage women to age positively, really. And
Wonderful.
relatable
Wonderful.
to a lot of women.
Well, I look forward to getting it. I
Thank you.
pre-ordered, so I look forward to that and staying and following your journey. And so speaking of which, where else can people stay in contact with you and
I'm
follow
on
your journey?
Ins Yeah, I'm on Instagram under Siobhan Shuvoff, Shuvon, Shuvoff, and I have a website which is siobhanshuvoff.co.uk, and that's all about me. And people can contact me, DM me, and have conversations with me. I'd love to engage. But thank you so much, for
Yeah.
getting get my mum's pearls out today. It's made me feel so happy. So thank you as well. I've loved wearing the earrings and things.
I love it. Thank you so much. It's a perfect object. And I love the idea that she is with you on
Yeah,
this journey and she's an inspiration and you're inspired, like she inspired you and you inspired, like you continue this
I'm
tradition
trying
that
to.
she started. So
Yeah,
wonderful. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your joining me.
my pleasure.
And for everyone else who's listening, I want to invite you. I host virtual show and tales. I know this can be difficult for people in the UK and other areas that sometimes the timing doesn't work because I do them in the evenings, but I do some daytime ones. So I do those monthly. And I also have I also am teaching people how to host their own show and tales as a way to market their books, their art, their other things, ways to bring people together where they can share their stories and then they can connect with the person that's the host. And I also can be hired for your family reunion or for your office celebration or employee volunteer appreciation or employee engagement. Consider hiring me to host a show and tell where I invite people, just like I did with Siobhan today. I invite people to bring objects that have meanings and share stories to make deeper connections, one story of stuff at a time. So thank you so much and have a wonderful day, everyone.